Right now, somewhere in the world, someone is taking a drug. Maybe it is a pill from a pharmacy. Maybe it is alcohol in a glass. Maybe it is caffeine in a cup of coffee. Maybe it is nicotine from a cigarette. Maybe it is something illegal, hidden, and dangerous. But the strange part is this. Humans did not invent drugs from nothing. We found them. In leaves, in seeds, in bark, in mushrooms, in flowers, in roots, in spoiled fruit, in the strange chemistry of the living world. Long before there were pharmacies, there were forests. Long before there were laboratories, there were plants. Long before anyone knew the word dopamine, someone put something in their mouth and felt their mind change. So here is the real question. Where do drugs come from? And why do people use them? Not just modern people, not just people at parties, not just people with addiction. We are going much further back than that. Before hospitals, before written laws, before chemistry, before civilization. Back when humans were small groups of animals walking through a world full of things that could feed them, heal them, poison them, or kill them. Because for most of human history, drugs were not called drugs. They were plants, and humans were surrounded by them. But plants are not passive. They are not just green decorations sitting politely in the dirt. Plants are chemical factories. They cannot run away from insects. They cannot claw at animals. They cannot hide when something starts eating them. So they make chemicals. Some chemicals taste bitter. Some make animals sick. Some affect nerves. Some stop insects from eating the leaves. Some attract pollinators. Some protect the plant from fungus, sunlight, or competition. The plant is not trying to help humans. It is trying to survive. But the human brain is also made of chemistry. Nerves speak in chemicals. Pain is carried by chemicals. Pleasure is shaped by chemicals. Fear, hunger, memory, sleep, and attention all depend on chemical messages moving through the body. So when plant chemistry meets human chemistry, strange things can happen. A defense chemical in a leaf can become a stimulant. A poison can become a medicine. A bitter bark can dull pain. A fungus can change perception. A fermented fruit can make fear feel smaller. This is where drugs begin. Not as evil, not as magic, as a collision between two living systems. Imagine an ancient human group moving through a forest. Every day they are making decisions with their mouths. This fruit is safe. This seed is bitter. This root makes the stomach hurt. This leaf makes the mouth numb. This mushroom makes the world move strangely. This bark helps a fever. This berry makes someone die. There are no warning labels. There is only memory. And if your group remembers better than another group, you survive. Early humans probably learned about mind-changing substances the same way they learned about everything else. Accident, observation, pain, curiosity, mistakes. Maybe someone watched an animal eat a plant and behave strangely. Maybe someone copied them. Maybe someone was starving and ate something they normally avoided. Maybe someone chewed leaves during a long walk and realized they felt less tired. Maybe someone drank liquid from rotting fruit and discovered that the body could become warm, loose, and fearless. Nobody understood receptors. Nobody understood neurotransmitters. Nobody understood addiction. They only understood this. Something changed inside the body, and that was powerful. The first reason people used drugs was probably simple: pain. Ancient life hurt constantly. Bones broke, teeth rotted, skin tore, wounds got infected. Childbirth was dangerous. Parasites were normal. Hunger was normal. Cold was normal. Sleep was not guaranteed. There were no clean operating rooms, no modern anesthetics, no antibiotics in bottles, no dentist who could numb your mouth and fix the tooth. If your body became unbearable, you had almost nowhere to go. So if a plant could dull pain, even a little, people remembered it. They told others. They carried it. They protected the knowledge. They gave it meaning. This is how medicine begins, not with white coats, with someone suffering and someone else saying, "Try this." Every culture on Earth developed some form of plant medicine. Some of it worked. Some of it did not. Some of it was dangerous. Some of it became the beginning of real pharmacology because many modern medicines have roots in natural compounds. But to ancient people, the line between medicine and drug was not clean. A substance could heal you. A substance could intoxicate you. A substance could poison you. Sometimes it could do all three depending on the person, the amount, and the moment. That confusion never fully went away. Even today, we still live with it. A medicine can save a life. The same kind of medicine can destroy a life. A substance can be prescribed by a doctor in one room and sold illegally in another. The chemical does not care what humans call it. It only changes the body. But pain was not the only reason humans used drugs. Some substances changed fear, and fear mattered just as much. For most of human history, fear was not an emotion you had while watching a movie. Fear was information. Fear told you that something was in the dark. Something was moving near the camp. Someone in the group was angry. The weather was turning. The child was sick. The food was running out. Fear kept humans alive. But fear also wears the body down. A substance that made fear feel smaller could seem like protection, even when it carried danger of its own. This is one reason alcohol became so important in so many cultures. Alcohol does not require a modern factory. Fermentation happens naturally. Fruit falls from trees. Sugars break down. Yeast does its quiet work. A liquid changes. An animal eats it. A human tastes it. And suddenly the world feels different. Warmer. Louder. Less sharp. Less frightening. More social. For ancient people sitting together at night, that feeling could have seemed almost magical. It made strangers easier to approach. It made songs louder. It made grief softer. It made the body feel less trapped inside itself. But that is exactly what makes it dangerous. A substance that changes fear can also change judgment. A substance that creates connection can also create dependence. A substance that makes pain quieter can make warning signs easier to ignore. Humans kept using it anyway. Because humans do not only want to survive, they want to feel like surviving is bearable. And this is where the story gets deeper. Some drugs did not just change pain or fear. They changed reality. Certain plants, fungi, vines, and cacti can alter perception. Colors shift. Time stretches. Patterns move. The boundary between the self and the world becomes less solid. Today, scientists might talk about serotonin receptors, brain networks, prediction, and perception. Ancient people had a different language. Spirits, gods, ancestors, visions, the hidden world. And honestly, that makes sense. If you lived thousands of years ago and a plant made the world open in a way you had never seen before, you would not think, "My brain chemistry has temporarily changed." You would think, "I have crossed a doorway." So some drugs became sacred, not because they were safe, not because everyone used them casually, but because they were powerful enough to be treated with fear. Across history, mind-altering substances have appeared in rituals for healing, mourning, initiation, celebration, prophecy, and contact with the dead. Sometimes they were controlled by shamans, healers, priests, or elders. Sometimes they were surrounded by rules. Sometimes the danger was part of the meaning. The substance was not just for pleasure. It was a tool for crossing a border. Between child and adult. Between sick and healed. Between ordinary life and the sacred. Between the living and the dead. But there is another reason humans used drugs. Work. This sounds less mysterious, but it may be just as important. Human bodies get tired, they get hungry, they lose focus. They want to stop. But survival often demands the opposite. Walk farther, stay awake, hunt longer, carry more, keep watching, keep working. Some plant compounds push the body in that direction. They make tiredness feel smaller. They sharpen attention. They reduce appetite. They make the body feel like it has more energy than it really does. This is why stimulants became part of daily life in many places. Caffeine is the obvious example now. It is so normal that many people forget it is a drug at all. But caffeine is still a plant chemical affecting the nervous system. Humans use it because the modern world asks tired bodies to behave like machines. Wake up before sunrise, go to work, answer messages, stay alert, ignore exhaustion, do it again tomorrow. A cup of coffee feels ordinary, but it is part of the same ancient pattern. Human meets plant. Plant changes body. Body keeps going. And then there is escape. This might be the most human reason of all. Humans are animals that know they are suffering. That is a strange burden. A deer feels fear, but it probably does not lie under the stars wondering why fear exists. A bird feels pain, but it probably does not imagine its own death years in advance. Humans do. We remember pain. We predict pain. We build stories around pain. We can suffer from things that are not happening anymore, and from things that have not happened yet. So when something offers a temporary exit from being yourself, humans notice. A drink, a smoke, a bitter leaf, a pill, a powder, a plant that changes the weight of the world for a while. That is not always pleasure. Sometimes it is silence. Sometimes it is the mind finally stopping. Sometimes it is grief becoming distant. Sometimes it is shame losing its teeth. Sometimes it is loneliness feeling less permanent. That is why telling people drugs are bad has never been enough. Because people often do not use them only because they think they are good. They use them because something hurts. And the drug answers faster than life does. But fast answers can become traps. The brain is built to repeat what seems to help survival. Food feels good because eating keeps you alive. Touch feels good because connection keeps you alive. Belonging feels good because the group keeps you alive. Escaping pain feels good because pain is a warning. Drugs can press those same ancient buttons, but harder. That is the trap. A drug can tell the brain, this matters, even when it is hurting you. It can turn relief into craving. It can turn medicine into dependence. It can turn escape into a cage. It can make the brain remember the substance more strongly than it remembers the damage. And once that happens, the question changes. It is no longer, why would someone choose this? It becomes, what has this done to the choosing system itself? That is what addiction is so hard to understand from the outside. People imagine the brain as a driver holding a steering wheel. Just decide differently. Just turn away. Just stop. But addiction reaches into the machinery below decision. It changes wanting. It changes memory. It changes stress. It changes what the brain thinks it needs to survive. The person may know the drug is hurting them and still want it. That contradiction looks irrational, but it is biology, ancient biology, pushed past its limits, and modern drugs push it further than ancient humans ever could. Because modern humans learned how to concentrate nature. A plant that was once rare, seasonal, bitter, slow, or difficult to use could be refined into something stronger. A substance that once appeared in a leaf could become a purified chemical. A local plant could become a global product. A ritual substance could become a market. A medicine could become an industry. The ancient breaks were removed. Distance disappeared. Season disappeared. Ritual disappeared. Scarcity disappeared. And the human brain stayed mostly the same. Your reward system was not built for modern drug supply. It was built for food, sleep, movement, sunlight, social bonding, touch, danger, rest, and effort. It was built for a world where powerful rewards were usually tied to survival behaviors. Modern drugs can separate the feeling from the survival. They can give the signal without the thing the signal was meant to protect. Pleasure without nourishment. Calm without safety. Energy without rest. Connection without trust. Meaning without understanding. That does not mean every drug is the same. They are not. Some are medicines. Some are poisons. Some are both. Some are legal because of history. Some are illegal because of politics. Some are accepted because they are familiar. Some are feared because they are associated with certain people, places, or stories. Human culture decides the labels. The body deals with the chemistry. That is why the same person can wake up with coffee, take a pain pill, drink at dinner, and still think of drugs as something other people do. The category is not built only from chemistry. It is built from permission, from habit, from class, from law, from whether a society has decided that this kind of mind change is normal, and that kind is dangerous. That is why drugs are so complicated. They sit at the crossroads of nature, medicine, pleasure, suffering, law, business, ritual, and survival. They can reveal what humans want most: relief, energy, courage, sleep, belonging, control, freedom from pain, a way out of the self, a way into something larger than the self. So where do drugs come from? They come from plants defending themselves. They come from fungi and microbes doing chemistry in the dark. They come from fermentation. They come from human observation. They come from medicine. They come from laboratories. They come from the old habit of reaching into nature and asking it to change us. And why do people use them? Because being human is hard. The body hurts. The mind gets scared. The world feels heavy. Work is exhausting. Grief is heavy. Loneliness is sharp. Meaning is difficult. And sometimes people want relief so badly that even danger starts to look like a doorway. That does not make drugs safe. It makes them human. For thousands of years, people have been pulling leaves, drinks, smoke, powders, pills, and medicines from the world, hoping one of them would change something inside them. Sometimes it helped. Sometimes it healed. Sometimes it connected people. Sometimes it gave them a story for the invisible world. And sometimes it destroyed everything. But underneath all of it was the same ancient wish: make the pain smaller, make the fear quieter, make the body easier to live in, make the night easier to survive.